Ever wondered how your favorite toy characters handle the digital age? Let's talk Toy Story 5. Hey, I'm Leah, feeling curious today and excited to dive into this digital saga.
And I'm Garrett, ready to explore what's new and nostalgic in this Toy Story adventure.
Welcome to Laid Back Learning with Leah and Garrett.
All right, let's set the stage for this one. We're talking Toy Story 5, the 2026 Pixar film that brings Woody, Jessie, Buzz, and the crew face to face with a very modern rival for Bonnie's attention, a tablet named LilyPad, also called Lily.
It premiered at the Dolby Theater in June 2026 and hit U.S. theaters later that month. It's the fifth main entry, set about 2 years after Toy Story 4, and it leans into that theme of toys versus screens in a way that's honestly pretty relatable. I remember watching the first Toy Story and being captivated by the idea that when the room goes quiet, your toys have a whole life you never see. I was totally hooked on Jessie's song in Toy Story 2. That hit me right in the heart. So seeing this series grow up with us is wild. Each time they bring a new life stage or a new worry, now it's screens and peer pressure. That's close to the heart of it for a lot of families. And I kind of love that the franchise finds a way to talk about it without being preachy.
Basic rundown first. Toy Story 5 is directed by Andrew Stanton, who's a longtime Pixar creative and co-wrote the earlier Toy Story films. Here he also co-writes with Kenna Harris. The premise is simple but sharp. Bonnie, now about 8, gets absorbed by LilyPad, her tablet, and her toys feel sidelined. That's the hook. The heart is how Jessie, now the sheriff of Bonnie's room, responds.
And Lily being a tablet is important. They personify a device to show how screens can steer daily life. Greta Lee, the actor you may know from contemporary TV and film, voices Lily with this crisp, modern cadence. It's a very believable presence. Also worth noting, the film carries a PG rating for some thematic elements and rude humor. That's a first for a mainline Toy Story, which signals a slightly edgier tone even while staying family-friendly.
Cast continuity is strong. Tom Hanks returns as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz, and Joan Cusack as Jessie. New faces include Conan O'Brien as a potty-training gadget named Smarty Pants, Shelby Rabara as Snappy the Camera, Michael Michelle Harris as Blaze Manookian, and Craig Robinson as Atlas the GPS. Fun bit of rumor cleanup. For a while, rumors said Anna Faris would voice LilyPad, but in November 2025, Pixar confirmed it was Greta Lee, and Faris later denied involvement. So yeah, rumor mill shut down on that one.
Speaking of which, let's open the book on how we got here. In late 2018, John Lasseter left Pixar during the tail end of Toy Story 4's development. Lasseter, for context, was a co-founder and a key creative leader. His departure meant that Toy Story 5 would be the first main entry made without his involvement, which is a big shift for the franchise's creative stewardship.
Right. In 2019, Mark Nielsen, a producer at Pixar, said they'd focus on original films for a while after Toy Story 4, but he didn't slam the door on a fifth. So the vibe was cautious. They kept options open, but weren't racing into another sequel. That's pretty cool, right?
In May 2019, Tom Hanks said on the Ellen DeGeneres show that Toy Story 4 would be the final main film, referencing the emotional goodbye between Woody and Buzz. So a lot of us thought, okay, that's the bow, and then the plot twist came later.
In February 2023, Bob Iger, the CEO of Disney, announces Toy Story 5 is in development. Tim Allen quickly confirms he's back as Buzz. That reassurance mattered. Buzz is a pillar. Then in June 2023, Pete Docter, Pixar's chief creative officer, confirms Woody would return too, which is huge given that Toy Story 4 staged a very real parting.
Fast forward to June 2024, Andrew Stanton is confirmed as director and later as a writer, which locks in that legacy meets new direction feel. Stanton's been tied to the series since the start as a writer, so having him steer this one carries weight. It tells you they wanted to honor what came before, while trying something bold.
Then by August 2024 at D23, Pete Docter shares more on Stanton's writing role and tees up the tagline, Toy Meets Tech. That short phrase signaled the film's lens. It's not toys versus tech as a pure villain story, but a head-on exploration of how tech reshapes play. It's like, let's dig into this rather than run from it.
And as they went along, voice sessions started stacking up. Tim Allen said in mid-December 2024 that he'd begun recording and called the story really good. Early 2025, Tom Hanks began recording too. That's a sign those story reels were crystallizing, because they don't waste those sessions on loose ideas.
On the festival front, they previewed the opening scene at Annecy in June 2025, which is a big international animation festival held annually in France. Showcasing there says, hey, this is both a crowd pleaser and a tech-forward flex. Later that August at Destination D23, they repeated that toy meets tech log line, which really stuck.
Then in November 2025, the teaser drops and clocks about 142 million views in 24 hours. That's bananas. And that same month, Greta Lee is officially revealed as Lilypad. Anna Faris, who had been rumored, denies involvement, so the record gets set straight.
Okay, rise and struggle time. The plot asks, what happens when Bonnie prefers a screen? Jessie has stepped up as the sheriff in Bonnie's room since Woody's earlier departure, and Lily the tablet sincerely believes she's helping Bonnie's social life by sidelining the toys. That motive is clever. It isn't mustache twirling, it's misguided care.
Jessie's role becomes the emotional core. We see peer pressure hit hard. There's a sleepover where Bonnie gets ridiculed by classmates for still playing with toys, and Jessie and Bullseye get sent home. That stings. It shows how social dynamics can push a kid to shelve parts of themselves. Real talk, that part gave me chills.
Story-wise, Jessie and Bullseye end up found by an elderly couple and taken to a farmhouse that turns out to be Emily's, Jessie's former owner from Toy Story 2. That's a deep pull. It brings legacy right to the surface, not as just a cameo, but as a meaningful pivot in Jessie's arc.
There Jessie meets Blaise Manoukian, a young girl with a bright imagination, voiced by Michael Michelle Harris, and she bumps into device toy characters like Atlas the GPS, Snappy the camera, and Smarty Pants the potty training device, voiced by Craig Robinson, Shelby Rabara, and Conan O'Brien. These characters are great because they complicate any simple tech is bad message. They're tech, but they still yearn for play.
On the technical side, Pixar debuts RenderMan XPU on a feature here. Quick definition, it's Pixar's hybrid CPU-GPU rendering engine that gives artists way faster interactive previews of lighting and materials, like 9 times faster in some cases. Faster iteration means richer shots and braver choices in how scenes are lit and textured.
Why does that speed matter so much beyond just, convenience?
Because when you can see results quickly, you can try more ideas. You can layer subtle materials on Lily's glass, push hair detail on Blaze, or craft moodier lighting without waiting overnight. It lowers the cost of experimentation, so the film's look can be more nuanced and alive.
Speaking of hair, they built a new system to portray Blaze's tight curls authentically. Pixar folks said they got feedback from Black colleagues on look and behavior, how curls compress under a hat or bounce while running. That's the kind of behind-the-scenes decision that makes representation feel real on screen.
They also introduced invertible rigging. Simple definition, animation rigs usually have FK, where you rotate each joint in a chain, and IK, where you move the hand or foot and the body solves to follow. Invertible rigging blends them seamlessly, so an animator can push a finger and have the elbow and shoulder respond naturally without juggling modes. It speeds up performance and contact with the world.
And they even brought a real horse to campus while building Daffodil, the horse character, which took over a year to rig and simulate. That observational detail, the gait, the hoof-ground interaction, shows up in little ways that sell the world even when you're focused on Jessie's emotions.
Meanwhile, Tim Allen not only returns as Buzz, and he also voices the multi-Buzz. That's around 50 Buzz Lightyear units stuck in demo mode. They crash on a deserted island and literally follow the North Star in toy logic until they converge with the main plot. It's comedy, but it's also commentary on mass-produced gadgets that haven't been activated to their real purpose yet.
Okay, resolution. Lily, thinking she's protecting Bonnie from ridicule, manipulates Bonnie's parents via speech recognition to stash the toys. That's a sharp narrative move. It literalizes how devices can quietly steer routines. Woody and Buzz, reunited, figure out Lily's voice interface is a weakness and force the tablet to show Bonnie a picture of Jessie. It's a toy world hack for a tech world problem.
Jessie, after being shaken by Bonnie's rejection, discovers a buried lunchbox at Emily's place with photos and late 1900s keepsakes. She learns Emily named her daughter Jessie. That reveal reframes Jessie's worth beyond immediate play. Her influence lasted decades. It's a quiet but big emotional swing.
From there, Jessie hatches a plan to introduce Blaze to Bonnie. The goal is not to obliterate tech, but to rekindle imagination and friendship in the real world. Jessie's leadership here feels like mentorship. She's guiding connection, not just guarding toys on a shelf.
Woody and Buzz loop in the stranded multi-Buzz units, who finally learn their purpose as toys. With their help, Jessie tracks down Lily, who's boarded a donation truck out of guilt. The chase turns into a rescue mission and then into a meet-cute of imagination, with the multi-Buzz army adding slapstick oomph.
By the end, Bonnie and Blaze connect over toys and pretend marry Jessie and Buzz. It's playful and sweet. Woody and Bo return to their chosen work helping abandon toys, and those demo mode Buzz units finally find homes at a school playground. That payoff turns a running gag into community uplift.
Technically and musically, the landing is strong too. Randy Newman returns with that familiar melodic DNA, and then Taylor Swift drops an original song with Jack Antonoff, I Knew It, I Knew You, which went to #1 on the Billboard Global 200, a first for Disney and Pixar on that chart. That put a major pop spotlight on opening week.
Reception-wise, it gets broadly positive notes on visuals, performances, and humor. Rotten Tomatoes sits strong in the 90s, reported at about 93%, and Metacritic in the low 70s, around 73. Some folks questioned the necessity of another entry, but the craft and the themes got real respect.
And it's a big swing financially too, with a reported $250 million production budget. That covers the new tech, RenderMan XPU, and tools like the Luna lighting extension that lets artists update parameters across multiple shots, as well as a wide global campaign. So yeah, the stakes were high, and the movie aimed to meet them.
Here's something to get us started for the debate. Was Toy Story 5 necessary, or did it show franchise fatigue? Some critics, like The Guardian's Peter Bradshaw, a well-known UK film critic, flagged IP exhaustion. Others, like Variety's Owen Gleiberman, compared the 5-film run to a Beatles-like unified masterpiece. That's a spread.
I'm down for the idea that it was necessary as an evolution. Toy Story has always asked, what's a toy's purpose as the child grows? Today that question lives next to screens, and pretending it doesn't would feel off. The film doesn't demonize Lily. It personifies a tool with good intentions, but real blind spots. That teaching moment, using a toy world workaround to correct a tech world nudge, feels fresh. And Stanton's return ties it to the franchise's identity while pushing new tech under the hood. Yeah, that checks out for me.
I hear that, and I still lean a little skeptical on the necessity front. Toy Story 4 gave us a clean emotional close between Woody and Buzz, so reopening that door risks dulling the impact. I appreciate the new themes, peer pressure, device agency, relevance, but part of me wonders if these same ideas might have thrived in a fresh original film without the weight of expectations. That said, I can't deny Jessie's arc lands beautifully, and that discovery about Emily naming her daughter Jessie made the whole thing resonate more than I expected.
Totally fair. For me, the PG rating and the slightly tougher moments justify returning to this world with older kids in mind. The spin-off Lightyear already tested PG waters, but integrating that tone into the main saga lets the series grow with its audience. And the tech achievements, from invertible rigs to hair, set a bar that fits a marquee sequel. If they're going to return, doing it at this level matters.
Here's where it gets really interesting. Some critics, like O.D. Henderson at the Boston Globe, argued the film soft pedals its critique of screens, while others liked the optimism. I'm sympathetic to the idea that the message is blended. Lily isn't a must-fix villain, she's another character who needs guidance. On days I'm craving sharper commentary, I get why folks say it held back. But as a family story, that softer landing might be the point.
And I'd say that restraint keeps it in the Toy Story voice. The series rarely swings like a sledgehammer. it does the gentle nudge. The multi-buzz bit even turns a mass-produced gadget joke into companionship, which mirrors the overall optimism. I guess I'm saying the franchise identity and the film's modern worries line up better than I expected.
So we split the difference. I question the need but appreciate the craft and the character focus. You argue the need is proven by the way it updates the core question for a screen-first world. That's a thread worth pulling on. I don't think either view is wrong here.
And the pop culture current carried it. Taylor Swift's contribution kept the movie in conversation as it opened, which reached beyond core animation fans. Cross-generational magnet right there.
Plus, little cameo sparks. Bad Bunny, whose full name is Benito Antonio Martinez Ocasio, pops in as Pizza with sunglasses, and regionally the Garden Gnome character even has different voices. Jordan North in the UK, DJ Fisher in Australia and New Zealand, with Jerome Ranft in the main version. Those touches anchor the film in the pop landscape from music to radio to club culture. What if Pixar had embraced AI-generated animation for Toy Story 5?
That alternate timeline would be a curveball. Visual effects supervisor Thomas Jordan has said Pixar tested AI internally, but nothing met their quality bar. If they had embraced it, the pipeline might look radically different, fewer hand-tuned nuances, potentially faster asset generation, but a risk of losing the studio's artisanal fingerprints. The feel of Jesse's performance, those micro-expressions, might get sanded down unless heavily supervised by humans.
And public perception could swing. On one hand, headlines about cutting-edge AI might hype the tech. On the other, fans might worry about authenticity and artist credit. The franchise thrives on warmth and intention. If the faces or fabrics felt even slightly uncanny, it might undercut those intimate moments, like Jessie rediscovering her legacy. That's something you can't crowdsource from a model without careful human taste checks.
Storytelling might change too. If AI suggested beats by statistical patterns, you could get a version of Toy Story that's, derivative of itself. Patterns can be helpful, but also trap you in the average. The actual film makes specific soulful choices, like not vilifying Lily, letting Jessie lead, and threading that lunchbox reveal. Those are crafted bets more than data extrapolations.
And the labor side shifts. If AI covered layouts or early passes, maybe schedules compress, but then oversight balloons because you still need animators, lighters, and riggers to fix weird edges. It becomes a quality control marathon. Pixar's choice to double down on human-driven tools like RenderMan XPU and invertible rigging feels like a values statement. Empower artists rather than offload to a black box.
Marketing would be spicier but riskier. Toy meets tech might turn into toy meets AI, which could crowd out the heart of the story. Also, if critics sensed the images were slick but shallow, that Beatles-like unified masterpiece comparison from Owen Gleiberman might never show up. The brand identity shifts from handcrafted magic to techno-thesis, and that could be a tough sell for a comfort franchise.
In our What If, I picture Jessie's curls looking almost right but not moving with that lived-in spring. I picture the multi-buzz crowd reading uniform instead of hilariously distinct. The actual movie turns that swarm into a chorus with personality. Without that bespoke touch, the ending at the school playground might feel like neat symmetry on paper, but not a genuine tear-up moment. That difference matters.
So the counterfactual is intriguing, but I'm glad the real version chose speedier, smarter tools while keeping human intent front and center. That's something to chew on, huh?
Thanks for tuning in. Keep exploring and stay curious.
See you next time, folks. Let's keep learning together.